everyone, welcome back to Sales Cloud University. This is John Flackel. So we're going to talk about goals today. It's a perfect time to talk about it because we're right at the end of the year. We got 3 months left to go ahead and hit our numbers. We just finished Q3, and with my team, this is a time that we really sit down, we talk about the goals and the plans that we have to finish out the year. So really two concepts that we're going to get into over the next 15 minutes. And one of those is the key to writing your goals down. And another concept that we're going to talk about is just accountability and what that means when you go ahead and you're trying to go ahead and accomplish your goals. So let's jump right in. So this was an interesting study. So at Harvard University, they basically went through the MBA program and they went about and they asked the students, have you set clear and written goals for your future and made plans to accomplish them? So the 13% of the class who had goals but did not write them down were earning twice the amount of the 84% that had no goals. The 3% who had written goals were earning on average 10 times as much as the other 97% of the class combined. So pretty interesting study there that you have this concept of goal setting, and that really this small percentage of people really take advantage of going ahead and writing down their goals, and not just writing them down, but having key plans that go ahead and help them push towards achieving those goals. So we all know about the end of the year. It's 3 months away, and this is a time that you come up with New Year's resolutions. And the amazing thing about New Year's resolutions is the challenge that it is to actually follow through with the things that we want to change in our lives. So here's some interesting stats on New Year's resolutions. 25% of the people abandon their New Year's resolutions within 1 week. 60% of the people abandon them within 6 months. And the average person makes the same New Year's resolution 10 separate times without success. Only 5% of those who lose weight on a diet keep it off, and 95% regain it. A significant percentage gain it back more than they originally lost. So even after a heart attack, only 14% of patients make lasting changes around exercise and diet. So what does this tell you? This concept of New Year's resolutions, of goal setting, it's challenging. But what most people don't do when they go ahead and they set out to go ahead and make goals is to go ahead and really take the time to write down what you want to accomplish and come up with a specific plan of how you're going to go ahead and do it. These are some of the things that are on people's mind at year end, whether it's losing weight, getting organized, spending less and saving more. I mean, these are common things we all think about when we want to go ahead and improve on our lives. And the same that we do at the end of the year are things we should be doing all the time in our professional life. In sales, what are the things that we should be going ahead and setting out as our New Year's resolution or quarter resolution that we're going to change in the upcoming quarter, in the upcoming year, that's going to help us move towards our overall goals for the year. So this is an interesting story, and it really demonstrates the power of goal setting. So Lou Holtz is one of the most winning college coaches in the history of football. And there's a famous story about Lou Holtz where he's 28 years old. He's an assistant coach for South Carolina University. He just purchases a home. He's got a child on the way. His coach finds a new job at another university, which leaves Lou Holtz out of a job. So he goes home, he's bummed out, he had just bought a home, no income coming in. His wife goes ahead and gets him this book, The Magic of Thinking Big. This concept and this book is all about making goals and having them be big goals, really going ahead and pushing yourself to things that you may not have thought you could accomplish, and then really going ahead and outlining the plans of how you're going to go ahead and accomplish these things. So Lou Holtz went ahead and he created 107 goals on his list. And he goes back to his wife and says, hey, I've got this 107 goals on this list. And he's all excited about it. And his wife says, well, is one of those goals going ahead and getting a new job? And it wasn't on the list. But he went ahead and really put this vision to paper. And the power of that, he ended up getting a job at William and Mary College, and then after several years ended up over at Minnesota. And when he got the job at Minnesota, he told the coaches there that I'll only take this job if I can have an out in my contract that says if Notre Dame ever offers me a position that I can get out. And he put that in the contract, and the rest is history. He was gone ahead and offered that job at Notre Dame and became the head football coach there. That was just one of the 107 goals that were on his list. So the other things that were pretty amazing that he had on that list: eating with the president. He had dinner with Ronald Reagan. Being on the Tonight Show, he told jokes with Johnny Carson. Hitting a hole-in-one golf. He hit 2 hole-in-one golf shots. So just amazing, that concept of going ahead and creating goals, putting them on paper, and really going ahead and having plans to achieve those. So why should you write your goals down, right? Only 2% of the people out there actually write their goals down. And at the end of the day, we can strive to be exceptional. That 2% that goes ahead and is able to perform at a higher level, or we could be average. The other 90% out there that really don't take the time to say and dream where they want to be and write plans and goals to go ahead and get there. So what does writing down your goals go ahead and do for you? It really helps you create a vision of what you want to accomplish. So it's that vision that you go ahead and when you put the pen to paper, you're going ahead and really taking the steps to go ahead and have that vision of where you want to go. Writing down your goals and reviewing them will provoke you to take the most important action. So if these goals are written down and they're in a place that you see them often, you're always thinking about what's the next important thing that you should be doing to go ahead and achieve that goal. Accountability, we talked about this in the beginning. So holding yourself accountable, telling everyone else that what your goal is. You're going to have a circle around you that you can trust, that you can share these things with. And that's key, to be able to go out and at the end of the day know when you've hit these different mile markers. So that accountability and monitoring will allow you to really clearly see the progress and know exactly when you've achieved these different things. So it forces you to have clarity when you define what your goals are. And I think that's important. We'll go through an exercise where we really think about a goal. We're going to go through and mind map that goal, where we put pen to paper and come up with a plan around that. And again, it really forces you to have that clarity. And I think that's important. So what are your steps to success? At the end of the day, you want to go ahead and write the goals down. And we always hear about the SMART goals. You want to align those goals with your overall objectives. But this is key. So instead of going ahead and coming up with a goal, think about it in terms of a question. So ask yourself the question as it relates to what the goal is. And this will allow you to go ahead and really be specific around what that is and come up with your own answers when you're thinking about your goal. So you may say, I want to go ahead and sell $300,000 in Q4 by December 31st, 2017, right? Now, you could say it that way, or you could say, how am I going to go ahead and sell $300,000 by December 31st, 2015? So it's asking you the question, and then the point of this exercise of really when you start getting into your goals is you answer it. Come up with all the ways that you can go ahead and achieve that goal. Now, when you come up with that goal, you want to kind of go through that SMART goal steps. Does it fall in? Are you being specific with what your goal is? Is it measurable? So at the end of the day, the great thing about sales is it's so measurable, right? I mean, we have numbers that are handed to us. These are what your goals and objectives are. And I think that's the advantage of what we have in sales. Everything that we do can be measured. And we know whether we're successful or not based on that measurement or quota. So the next thing, is it attainable? I had a rep say in our sales kickoff at the beginning of the year, I'm going to sell $2 million. And it was like, wow, no one's ever done that. In fact, the highest that someone had at that point was $1 million. So to hear someone say that, you can say, well, geez, is that attainable? Listen, it's not up to us to say what is attainable or not. I think it goes back to that idea of think big. Think big. I mean, obviously, if a rep comes in and says, I want to send $10 million, well, that's not really realistic. But $2 million at the end of the day was realistic. And, he's getting towards that goal. And at the beginning of the year was like, wow, that would be so out of the realm. So I think about attainable, if I were to take a word and scratch it off the SMART goals acronym there, I'd get rid of attainable. And I'd really think about it more in accountability. One of the things that I think about with accountability, so I went to De La Salle High School. I was one of the team football captains there. And one of the things that is unique with De La Salle, if any of you heard of the program, it has the longest winning streak in the history of sports at over 150 games, over 10 years of undefeated football. And one of the things that we learned when we were there is that art of actually making those commitments, putting down your goals and your plans on that card like these guys are doing every week, and you're making that commitment. And that goes back to the accountability. It's about accountability where you go ahead and you put it on the line where you say, hey, this is what I'm going to deliver in this next game. This is what I'm going to deliver in this week of practice. And really, isn't that what business is about? Isn't that what really selling is about? It's no different than when we were playing those high school sports. And that's what I love about it, right? Is that at the end of the day, this is a game. We're measured by these dollars that we go ahead and drive every month, and we make commitments to ourselves, to our company, to our team. And that's what really goes ahead and drives business. That's what really goes ahead and drives teams, is that commitment to your teammates to go ahead and hit that overall goal. So last thing, relevant. Obviously speaks for itself. You want it to be relevant to what you're trying to accomplish. And then they're time bound. They've got a deadline to them, right? At the end of the day, we're trying to accomplish these things. Deadlines drive us to go ahead and move forward to meet that timeline. So these are our SMART goals, right? Everyone knows them. You've heard them 100 times, but put them to practice. SMART, measurable, they're attainable, they're relevant, and then they're time bound. So back to that question, if I was sitting there in a salesperson's shoes and I was starting the quarter, how can I go ahead and sell $300,000 by December 31st, 2017? It's a question, right? And the effort of actually the plan that backs it up is to go ahead and answer that question. So one of these exercises that we go through at Ascentus is this concept of mind mapping. And the mind map really deals with a creative exercise, a collaborative exercise, good to do maybe with yourself to start, or you and a small team to really put pen to paper. And if I had that question in this one right here, they're using an example of time management, right? Well, if I want to become an expert at time management, and that's one of the things that's going to go ahead and help me move forward, it's going to have all these spokes that come off of it that are going to be things like you got clarity that are up there, and then all these sub-bullets that are below that, communication and sub-bullets below that. So this was an exercise that someone went through using a mind map to go ahead and really come up with a plan to go ahead and improve on their time management. So let's check it out. Let's do a mind map, and let's use the example that we want to go ahead and sell $300,000 in the quarter. What are all the things that we should be thinking about when we're wanting to go ahead and accomplish that? Okay, so we're going to go through this little exercise. This is what we call mind mapping. And again, it really gets you to be clear about what your goals are, and it builds the plan. It really builds the foundation of how you're going to go about these things. So this is the way it works. We're in Prezi right here. If you guys like this tool, happy to show you how it works in a future video. But whether you want to do it in Prezi, I like to do it also in Google Docs, Word document, pen and paper, however you want to do it. But the concept is start with your core question, the core goal that you're trying to answer, and then you're going to build that off to these other circles, and each of those are going to have subtasks that you really need to be thinking about as a part of your overall goal. So we start in the middle here, right? We're going to go ahead and put our main question that we started this exercise with. So this could be whatever is important to you. Maybe it's a certain quota. Maybe you need to be selling $1 million, whatever it is. I'm just going to put in there, how can I sell? So now that we've got our main goal that's in there, we are going to go ahead and put all the things that we want to be thinking about when we're going ahead and going after this goal. So this is just whatever comes to mind, right? At the end of the day, improve closing ratio. So once you got your bulleted list, you really think about each of those. Obviously, exercise could take a lot of time where you really get into each individual item, but now you choose the ones that are going to be areas that you want to build on. So, we look at this list right here, and, a lot of these could be sales skills, right? So you come over here to your other area, and you're going to come up with this one. You're going to say, well, to hit this number, I'm going to go ahead and need to improve on my sales skills. Another key component may be, to hit this goal, I've got to go ahead and get referrals. Another key item that I have on there is the ability to go ahead and fill my pipeline. So just 3 items that are there, right? So on each of these that you're drilling down into, now it's the exercise of, well, it goes back to that question. How am I going to go ahead and improve my sales skills? And what sales skills are they? So maybe they're objection handling, your questioning skills, closing skills, rapport skills, and so on. So maybe out of these right here, you come out and you say, objection handle is something that I really feel like I have to work on. So again, it's going out here, and now you've got another one that builds down. And what are the specific things at the end of the day is it that you have to work on to go ahead and overcome that, right? So maybe it's always agree first. Right? What are the other principles that's going to go ahead and help you focus on that? So that's the kind of concept that you're going along here in this mind map. You're going up to each of these items. You're saying, well, at the end of the day, if I'm going to hit $300,000 in a quarter, what do I have to do? Well, I don't know about you guys, but our highest close ratio is 60-80% through someone that has referred us business. 20% if we're going through some lead that's just come in through these big lead providers, right? So it's important. How do I develop referrals? Well, I got to go ahead and network on LinkedIn. I'm going to connect with 5 people per day that may be in my area that will help me go ahead and get business, whether that's from accountants or brokers or whatever that may be. I'm going to go ahead and network with my sold accounts, and I'm going to ask them for referrals, right? So now you're over to fill pipeline. So we have an SDR team that works with account executives and that partnership of going ahead and driving leads. So however you do it at your organization, how are you going to fill that pipeline? Our CEO, his favorite question in interview that he loves to ask, what are the 2 key things that you think are important in selling? So if you ever get that question, here's his 2 key things. It's going ahead and filling pipeline, right? Seems like common sense, but at the end of the day, you got to fill the pipeline. You got to have big deals, small deals, medium deals. So filling the pipeline is critical. No matter how good you are, no matter how good your sales skills are, if you're not getting up to the plate enough, you're not going to go ahead and close business. So that's super important to our boss man. And the second thing is make sure you're working the right deals. So that's that concept. Hey, you don't want to go after everything. I want to work on deals that are good fits for my company because I only have so much bandwidth and I can't go into a sale and get second place every time. I'd rather be 10th place than second place because I didn't waste a whole lot of time to get there. So side note, but those are 2 critical things. I agree, but let's think about pipeline. So what are you going to go ahead and do to go ahead and drive pipeline? Maybe it's I'm going to do 50 calls per day if that's the type of selling you're doing. I'm going to go ahead and again, it goes back to that referrals that I'm getting in. I'm going to go ahead and make sure that I'm maximizing the leads, right? So we call ours the lead machine. All those leads that come in to our organization goes into what we call the lead machine. That gets funneled to their SDR department. Well, things fall through the cracks. I want to make sure I'm always on top of the leads that are coming in so I can go ahead and get meetings out of those and have the highest ratio possible. But you guys get the idea. Mind maps are a great way to start an exercise at the beginning of the quarter, start of the year. But it's something that the key to this whole concept is you don't just go ahead and do it and put it in your desk drawer and don't bring it up again. Goals is all about looking at things every day, right? I've got my important goals. I got one that's in my wallet. How to develop a $100 million company. And I look at it every day. It's stuffed in there. When I pull up my bills, I see it. And I know it's what drives everything that I do. I want to be a part of that overall vision of where I'm taking my company. You want to have those things at the tip of your mind so you see it every day. So whether it's in your electronic wallet, in your iPhone, put it in front of you and always look at the plan and see, does this make sense? When we go through these mind maps, on my team, we're going to look at these things throughout the quarter, but we're also going to go ahead and look at them at the end of the year and see where did I go ahead and excel, or where were areas that I really didn't follow through on my plan. Was I really on top of my referrals? Was I really on top of building pipeline? Where are my sales skills and what was lacking? What was keeping me from getting my sales to the final stages and ultimately closing down the business? So goals is huge. Have fun with it. Go ahead and kick ass and have fun, and we will see you next time. Thanks and have a great day.